Hello everybody, CW here. I had a little problem last time I was at the range. I think I know what it is, but I figured we'd experiment together. This is my Ruger 1022 with the Kidd barrel, and I put that Hawk 6-24, that Hornet 6-24 scope on here. The problem I had was I was shooting out 100 and 200 yards, and I wanted to dial with the turret instead of using the holdovers inside, the hash marks inside. Well, I couldn't dial even to 100 yards. The dial won't turn. So right now we're set at 1.5. So go back to 0. The 0 stop has it stopping right where it's supposed to, on 0. But when I turn it up to go to elevation, that's it. It stops. Now it's a mushy stop. So I think I know what it is. But it could be that I can't see how I could be at the top of my adjustment, because this, what is this base? I'm going to say this is a 30 MOA base, but it may not be. This may be a 0 MOA base, because I think this is the one I put on. Okay, I think this is a 0. So there's something. So I will get a bigger MOA base ordered for this. And we'll get that put on. But in the meantime, let's check out the scope. Let me get set up here with the overhead and pull the turret cap off and see what we find. Stand by. Okay, there you are in the overhead view. So what I'm thinking that this 0 stop is what the problem is. So let's pop this turret cover off and see if that could be what's causing our problem. So I got to figure out a way to do this. So let me just get an Allen for that. And we'll back that out so that we know that's not our problem. Now, that's not going to change our adjustment, because we're not going to pull this cap off. That's just going to get this screw out of the way. And that's how this works. It's just a screw in the cap, and of course the whole cap turns. And there's a stop that sticks up underneath. Actually, as long as I don't move anything, I can pull it off and show you. See the little pin there? That little stop dingus? The way this works is the screw hangs down on the inside. You see it there? Are we focused? And then it comes up against it, and dink, 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 it stops. So when you turn it, it goes so far, and I think it was going to 65, and then it was stopping. So it was unscrewing. Now it could be that we're at the top of the adjustment. That could be it. Or it could be that this 0 stop is touching somehow. So looking at this now, I think it may actually be topped out. So let's set it back, put it back on here. We've backed out the setting. We're still on 0. So let's turn this as far as it would go, which is 65. 55. Let's pull this cover off, and let's see if this will go anymore. All right, it won't. So that tells me it's topped out. And that tells me that a base will fix this. So here's just a good experiment for you. You know, when you find these kind of things, look at what you got, look at what's going on, and you can figure it out. There's 55. We're going to set 55 back on here. There we go. So now we'll be able to turn back to 0. We don't have a 0 stop because we turned it off. We can turn it back on. And again, you saw how it works. It's just a stop. It bangs up against that. That's why this doesn't ever have to get torqued down with any kind of, serious power, because all it's doing is running into the side of something. And on this particular scope, you've got an O-ring in here. You want to make sure you don't lose that when you put this back on. So there we go. Just a quick video. I thought we were going to be able to figure this out another way, but it looks like all it is that base. This is a 0 MOA base, and for whatever reason, maybe there's a little bit of droop going on in this rifle as well. It's a much lighter barrel, but it could be. Remember the other one we have the droop problem with the heavy barrel? Now this is a lightweight big fat barrel, but it certainly could have some issues. So maybe we'll order that out as well. We'll order that V-clamp that we put in the other rifle, because it won't hurt anything. It's going to provide more support. And then we'll order a 30 MOA or a 20 MOA rail to be able to get enough adjustment to get some elevation out of this so that we can shoot at range. So there we go. Just a quick video. We figured out our problem here together as you watched. This is not a problem with the Monstrum scope by any means. It's not really a problem with anything. It's just the fact that we ran out of elevation because of the setup that we have here. It can happen anywhere for any reason. There's not a problem that occurred. It's just the adjustment range that's it. So we're going to fix it, because if you were to screw this down, and this is a good example of what an MOA base does for you. We're topped out. So when you go all the way up, you've dropped your reticle all the way down, which means your muzzle comes up to be able to shoot farther. It's a little confusing if you think about it, but that's how it is. So this scope has X amount of MOA adjustment. When it's mounted regular, you're only using a portion of that elevation, because you're never going to use the other side of it, because you're never going to be that close. Follow me? This is sighted for 50 yards dead on, and we only had 55. And I don't know if this is MOA. This is MOA. So we only have 55 MOA of adjustment, and it may not even be that much, but it's 55 clicks, which means all the rest of that going down is all useless, wasted. So with an MOA base, it's going to raise up the back, it's going to bring the front down. It's going to allow us to screw this in quite a bit, 20 MOA. We're going to gain 20 MOA, and all of a sudden our 0, instead of being 50 from the top, if this is actual MOAs, instead of being 50 from the top, it's going to be 70 from the top, which means we're going to get 20 MOA more coming up, which means the reticle comes down, which means the muzzle comes up, which means you can shoot that much farther. Now this is an 1/8 minute, 1/8 MOA clicks on these. See it here? 1/8 MOA. So that number may be just a reference number and not an actual MOA number. That's why I say that. I'm not sure. I'd have to read the directions. And it doesn't really matter. It is what it is. But that's what we're going to do. So we'll come back. We'll revisit this. I'll get that base ordered. I will have it in here in a couple days. And we'll do a follow-up video. God bless everybody. W out.